Hey everybody, Jamie Stokes from Roy LePage. I want to do a video here tonight on how you can kind of reduce some of your monthly payments. I know Canadians are really struggling. There's a lot of people struggling with finances right now. So I'm going to try and make it a quick video because I know I tend to ramble on, but I want to try and make a quick video here on how to save yourself a little bit of money when it comes to credit cards. A lot of people I see have their credit cards absolutely maxed out, and they're struggling to pay rent or mortgage, as well as buy groceries, things for their kids, pay their utilities, their car payments, insurance, things like that, cell phone bills. So I wanted to touch base on something that I think is really important for people to know that will end up saving you a little bit of money and give you a little bit of relief. So first off, I'm a realtor in the GTA. I'm obviously not an accountant or a financial expert, but this is just a little bit of research here that I've done myself to kind of try and help people out because I see how many people are struggling. Now, credit cards, they've got really high interest rates. So I went online and I looked at a few different credit cards and tried to understand what different credit cards offer and compare them a little bit here. So I know your average credit card rate is about 20%. So I went online and I researched, and I want to stress that you also have to research things a little bit here because I went to different sites and compared credit cards, and the problem that I found was different websites gave different results for these same credit cards. One would say that there's zero annual fee, and then another one would say that there's a $20 annual fee, and another one would say that the first year is free. After that, it's $20 or $25. So you really need to kind of go online and check these out for yourself, despite me having done this already, because there's not very much clarity there. So I guess these are some questions that you'll have to ask if you call up and apply for these credit cards. But to give yourself a little bit of instant relief from your credit cards, I would suggest, I know some of these credit card companies, they say that you have to have a certain credit score in order to do that, and they may stick to that, but not all of them will. If you're getting a lower interest rate, it'll give you a little bit of relief on the monthly interest payments that you have to make. Now, there's another thing here that I want to point out to you. I called my bank today just out of curiosity, and I said, my interest rate on my credit card is about 20%, and I'm looking at these other credit cards here, and they're offering zero balance transfers, and their interest rates are much lower. They're about 13%. So my bank actually told me, well, we have a credit card that has a 12.99%, 13% interest rate. And they never told me this before when I got a credit card with them. They were just like, oh yeah, you want this credit card, which has a 20 or yeah, about a 20% interest rate. And I didn't really pay too much attention to that at the time, but these are questions that you can phone your own bank and say that you're comparing credit cards and you're looking at going to another bank who has a lower interest rates. So I'm gonna read off of my notepad here the notes that I made. So the first one is the Tangerine. It doesn't seem like a very good option just because there's not as much perks. But I'm going to go through the perks of each one of these credit cards. So the first one is Tangerine. You have to apply by September 30th, 2022 to get certain deals that they have, which is 15% cash back up to $1,000 on everyday purchases for the first 2 months. Well, 2 months isn't very long, but 1.95% balance transfer. So if you take the amount that you owe on your current credit card, transfer that over to this credit card, you're gonna pay a 1.95% fee on the total amount. There is no annual fee, according to what I researched, and there's 2% back in up to 3 categories. Also, there is a 19.95% interest rate for purchases and cash advances. Well, Tangerine is known for having no fee checking and no fee bank accounts, but their credit card doesn't seem to be a very good option now, does it? The next is Scotiabank. Scotiabank Value Visa Card. There's 0% interest rate on cash advances for the first 6 months. After that, it's 12.99%, which seems pretty decent. This was one of the lower cash advance rates that I found. There's no annual fee for the first year. After that, there is a $29 annual fee, 12.99% interest on purchases and cash advances, and the minimum credit limit is $500. There is no rewards and no cash back on this card. Now, with lower interest credit cards, obviously they're not going to offer you, any special point system or rewards or something like that because you're already getting a lower interest rate. Next up, we have the American Express Essential Card. There's no annual fee, 12.99% interest on purchases and cash advances. Again, there's no rewards. And you must have a 660 plus credit score. So there's a few credit cards that I see here that you need to have a 660 or more credit score, which for some people that might not work for them. You can always phone the bank and see or apply. I urge you to phone the bank and ask them if this will affect your credit score prior to applying to all of these credit cards. You may end up taking a credit hit on this, so you want to make sure that that's not the case. So these credit cards that say that you need a 660 plus credit score, I don't believe that that's necessarily the case. You may be able to just do a balance transfer and use the credit card. But this is something that you're going to have to phone the bank and research yourself. Next up, we have the BMO Preferred Rate MasterCard. There's zero annual fee and then $20 per year after the first year. There's no annual rewards. Again, a 660 plus credit score. Balance transfer is at 15.99%. Well, in that case, 16 versus 20, you almost may as well keep the credit card that you have. There's 15.99% interest on cash advances, 12.99% on purchases, and 0.99% balance transfer for the first 9 months. That's their special offer here. Excuse me. Next up, we have the MBNA, and I think out of the cards that I researched, this one seems to probably be the best option. Now, this is a MasterCard, it's not a Visa, but the MBNA TrueLine MasterCard seems to be the best option, and I'm going to go through some of the things here in regards to this credit card. 0% interest on balance transfers for a year, the first 12 months, and this seems to be the best option for balance transfer. So if you owe a lot on your credit card and you want to switch it over and get a lower rate, 0% balance transfer for 12 months is pretty decent. That's going to relieve a little bit of your debt right off the hop. There are no rewards. Again, this is a low interest credit card, so it's not surprising that they don't offer a reward system. There's no annual fees. Interest is 12.99% on purchases and 24.99% on cash advances. So this credit card is excellent as long as you don't use it for cash advances, which, I mean, we shouldn't be using our credit cards for this anyways. We need to kind of live within our means a little bit, but you don't want to do any cash advances on this thing. And I want to point out that when you do cash advances versus purchases on your credit card, if you look at your credit card, if you owe a lot of money on your credit card, thousands of dollars or whatever, and you always carry a balance, the problem with cash advances is you will always end up paying the higher interest at the end. They're going to leave that there for you to pay off at the end because it's a higher interest rate and they're going to make more money off of you. So if you owe, say, $5,000 on your credit card and $1,000 of that is cash advances, you're going to pay off that first $4,000 at the lower interest rate before you pay off the higher interest rate one so that the bank can make more money off of you. Now, there's another thing here. They've got a special offer that expires August 31st, so at the end of the month. It's a $40 Genius cash offer. They're going to send you a card. I didn't read too much into it because I don't care about, a $40 perk card. It's not really good for much, I don't think. Maybe it's like an online Visa or something like that, but I didn't research into it because perks aren't, this offer expires very soon, and by the time you see this video, you might not even have time to apply for it and get that perk anyways. But out of all of the cards, the last one that I mentioned, the MBNA TrueLine MasterCard seems to be the best. If you have a high balance on your current credit card and you want to switch it over, do this. If you can pay it off within 12 months, you're paying 0% interest. That's the impression that I get by the information that I read about the credit cards. Now, this information took me a couple of hours to research, and like I said, going to different websites gave me different results, based on annual fees or interest rates or special offers, limited time offers, things like that. So phone your bank and ask them if they have a lower interest credit card that you can swap your balance over to. Now, I know a lot of banks won't do this. They're going to tell you that you have to pay off your first credit card first, and then you can apply for the next credit card. But that's nonsense. That may be how your bank runs things, but if you take your balance from your current credit card, apply for a new one, and tell them that you want to transfer the balance on this last credit card, the MBNA credit card, they're going to give you 0% interest to do so on the first year. So that sounds pretty fantastic to me. And if you're paying, a few $100 a month in interest on your credit card, it'll take you, 30 years or more to pay this off. So that's not something that you want, and you're going to have to swap your balance over. It'll give you pretty much instant relief, and that's just one financial way that you can save yourself a little bit of money. I'm going to come up with some more ideas to help you save money here. Take care for now. Jamie Stokes out.